Folks, welcome back to another board game breakfast, and today is the beginning of the last month of the year, December, which means you're going to see a whole pile of the best of the year stuff over the course of this month and next month. We'll be doing that here at the Dice Tower, of course, because I do so much like to do that. But it'll be closer to the end of December. But it's the beginning of the end in a sense. There's no more conventions over the course of the year, thankfully. It's Christmas season. Everyone's going shopping. In case you missed it, we put up some Christmas shopping guides a couple weeks ago. If you want to take a look at those, all the Black Friday things are over. And oh my, there was so many Black Friday deals, all the different stores and different companies. And so I thought I'd make something clear. A lot of people said to me, why aren't you talking about all these Black Friday sales and different things that are happening? And what we do here at the Dice Tower is we have a policy that we usually, there might be exceptions, there's exceptions to everything, but we usually don't mention sales because it would just overwhelm the thing. If I said, for example, that Fantasy Flight was having a sale at their site or someone and these are the good deals, that almost needs to be its own segment on a show, and it also doesn't have any kind of, it's not very rewatchable to go back and watch those and find out there was a sale, but the sale is over with. Well, I guess the news isn't very rewatchable either, but anyhow, let's get to it. So in the news this week, I didn't mention this last time, but Board Game Geek announced a new convention. They have the Board Game Geek Con each year in November, which is what I just went to. And then this year they have a new one, Board Game Geek at Sea, BGG at Sea, which is a cruise for people to go onto and play board games. And now they've announced BGG Loves Fam, or a family convention. Basically, Board Game Geek Con itself, the one in November, which isn't changing at all. You cannot come to that convention if you are younger than 13, and if you are younger than 18, you need to be accompanied by an adult the entire time. This one is going to be more aimed at kids. It's going to be over Memorial Day weekend in the exact same location, Dallas, Texas, but have kids activities and things like that. So you can check out Board Game Geek for more information about that. I already mentioned all the Black Friday sales. The Black Box was released from AEG. We'll talk a little bit more about that this episode. And that's pretty much it. It was a very light week. There was a new game released called What the Face from Spin Master. And I'm only mentioning this game because What the Face is really close to Faces. So close to Faces that kind of puts the kibosh on me bringing Faces back. I was certainly trying to get Faces to be one of the Dice Tower Essentials line, and we were ready to do so. The thing holding it up was the fact that we weren't sure the market would be big enough for the game, and with this on the market, it's not going to happen at this point. Maybe you'll see it in the future, but we'll see. As it is, this game looks awfully similar. So let's take a look at some more games that I have on my shelves and why I'm keeping them. Here we have Lords of Ziddit, which just came out this year. A game I like quite a bit and think is very fun, with very interesting victory conditions, and it's actually in the same universe as Seasons, which is a card drafting dice rolling game. Seasons I love. This will be on my shelf for many years. Lords of Ziddit you may not see here very long. I like it a lot now, but I'm not sure if it has much staying power. Fortunes America is a classic. I'm glad Fantasy Flight released it in a smaller box because the other one was too big for my shelves. About defending America from the invading communists. Manila, which is a really fantastic, it's basically a gambling style game in which you're gambling whether ships are going to make it down to the end of the river or not. Love this. Escape. Fast real-time dice rolling game. Still enjoy that. Lost Legends is a very fun game where you're drafting cards and then you go fight monsters. Los Mamphos is what I call the donkey poop game. That's what it is, basically. You have these wooden donkeys that you are going to move around the board, eat stuff, and then poop out different colors. But it's actually a pretty good game. You're trying to remember what colors are in each of the donkeys and gather those different colors when they poop them out. It's entertaining. I keep it more for the novelty probably than the game, but the game is still good. And then Cosmic Encounter, Cosmic Encounter, Cosmic Encounter, Cosmic Encounter, Cosmic Encounter. So I do like Cosmic Encounter quite a bit. I'm glad to have it, and go watch my review. It's an awesome game.
discriminating gamer. My name is Cody. I gotta be quiet because I'm here in the Lost Valley of the Kings. Oh! Oh! Well, he doesn't want to kill me at all. He just wants to play Valley of the Kings from AEG.
Hi, Internet. There sure are a lot of you, aren't there? It's like you're having a party or something. Why wasn't I invited? Well, last year, Steve told you about a bunch of games to take to a party if you wanted to play real games. That's puppet for air quote. In the rush to buy a certain game in a black brick-shaped box, a lot of great party games get overlooked. Some have even been nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. Oh. Concept from Repos Productions and designers Alan Rivelet and Gaetan Bellerno, I'm sure I screwed that pronunciation up, is charades for smart people. Instead of acting your clues out, la la la, that sort of thing, you use plastic tokens and a board full of symbols to convey the concept you're trying to get across. Symbols on the board have lots of possible meanings, so the guessers, well, they got some work cut out for them. And you've got all these little plastic tokens that you use to sort of differentiate one idea from another, or the importance of one idea. Just like in charades, the clue giver can't talk. Snake Oil from Out of the Box Publishing is a favorite among the staff here at Snakes. I wonder why. It uses a judging mechanic similar to Apples or Cards Against Humanity. But what you're trying to do is sell goofy products to a customer. Every round the judge is a customer, and players use cards from their hand to make a wacky, silly product like a puppet hat or a laser dog or whatever. Then they make a pitch, and the customer hears all the pitches and buys the products they like the most. Snake Oil. It's the best party game ever, according to the box. And why would they lie? Now there's a lot of party games, so you should also try Fix-It, Say Anything, Time's Up, Schmovie, Wits and Wagers, Balderdash is a classic, Panic on Wall Street if you can find it, Raffle's not bad, Architect, that's pretty cool, you get to hit people with clubs.
Today we're taking a look at one of the inserts from inserthere.me. Robert Searing, who's the webmaster for the Dice Tower, puts together different inserts cut out of foam core. And in fact, if you want to get some of these inserts, you can go to his website and use the coupon code Dice Tower, which will give you an extra percentage off getting these. But hey, I would just want to show you this one here for Dead of Winter, which is one of my favorite games. These are foam core, so they're very sturdy, but at the same time they have kind of a soft feel to them. And you see there's room in here for the games, but also you can pull out the different containers and use them over the course of the game. So we have different containers here. So yeah, I can set both of these. Over here's a spot where this container here holds the dice, and I can put those next to the board. And then I have all the rest of my cards and everything here. And there's plenty of room here if they add more cards and things and expansions. You have plenty of room for those. And then when you're done, you simply put these, they slide right back in. And then the board and everything goes on top. And he has a lot of different ones. And so over, the next year or so, I'll show you some of the different ones that he has done for games. This is the one for Dead of Winter. Again, that's inserthere.me.
The most influential game is one of my favorite games. It's Tales of Arabian Nights. And the reason why I like that game so much is because it captures the essence of a story. It is one of the most pure storytelling games that you can play. And it's incredibly immersive. Every game is totally different. And it offers a whole complete world in a box. And that's why it's my favorite game.
Hi, Suzanne here with this week's featured board game app. A pirate-themed push-your-luck card game is hitting your store shelves soon. Why does it matter for this segment? Well, it started as an app first. So let's take a quick look at Dead Man's Draw from Stardock Entertainment and see if it's something you might want to add to your physical or digital collection. Dead Man's Draw is a super simple push-your-luck game in which you simply reveal the top card of the deck one at a time until you decide to take all the cards in the display. But if you reveal a card that repeats a suit already displayed, your turn is done and you take nothing. The hook in this game is that each of the 10 suits has a special ability ranging from stealing from an opponent to peeking at the next card in the deck. It's a simple thing, but elevates the play from why bother to just one more game. The app dev is top-notch, the rules are simple and quick, and the tutorial does a great job of teaching you the game. You can play via Pass and Play, which is a great experience, but the core of the app is the solo play, which is a series of challenges against opponents with different abilities. Wins allow you to level up and unlock your own abilities. For those of you wary about the free-to-play and IAP model, which I am, I think Dead Man's Draw walks a fine line. You get a lot of value out of the game for the high cost of nothing, but you will end up grinding through some challenges later in the game if you don't feel like paying for some of the boosts. Personally, I like this game as a quick time killer, and I think there's enough in the gameplay that I even backed the physical copy that's being released soon. If you approach this game with your eyes wide open about the IAP model, and you understand it's really just a simple push-your-luck game, I think you'll find you'll enjoy it. Give it a try.
This week you're going to see a lot of reviews. Some of the other guys doing reviews, I'll be doing a pile of them. I got one here, Tet Mithra, some little Korean game, Ancient Terrible Things, Dixit Daydreams, Are You Smarter Than Your Parents, Legendary Guardians of the Galaxy, Oklahoma Boomers, and 15 other reviews. We're trying to clear out a whole pile of them and hopefully give you lots of reviews for the month of December. That is my goal. Of course, we have the Dice Tower coming out tomorrow and all the rest of our podcasts at dicetowernetwork.com. I'll also be doing a live Q&A at some point over the week. I'll probably try to do one tonight around 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So if you have a chance to come on and ask me questions on YouTube, I'll talk to you then and answer a few questions. And that's about it for here. Let's keep going with the show.
Marler from Pair of Dice Paradise, and we've started counting down my official top and bottom 3 games of 2014. These are the standouts that I played this year for the very first time, and in this installment, I crack the plastic on the top games of the list, starting with top game number 3. Now, I have been known to enjoy a deck builder from time to time. I am enjoying this deck builder. But the problem I've ran into with many a deck builder is that they play as multiplayer solitaire. There's just not that much interaction between the players most of the time. But all that changed the first time that I played Star Realms. In Star Realms, players both start with the same decks of 10 starships. These starter ships earn the player money each turn, which is used to purchase better cards from the shared center row of ships and space stations. Your purchases are slowly cycled into your deck, allowing you to reap bigger rewards as you draw and play them on subsequent turns. But hey now, before you tell me that this sounds the same as nearly every other deck builder out there, and then slap me about the face and chest area to make your point, let me tell you what made Star Realms such a different experience for me. While some ships are used just for shopping, others have space fiction blasters that allow you to do science laser damage directly to your opponent. Pew pew. In Star Realms, the object of the game isn't to accumulate arbitrary victory points, which I recently discovered cannot be redeemed at any local businesses for goods or services, but instead to blow up your opponent in direct, cosmic, confrontational combat. This engagement and interaction between the players is what makes the Star Realms deck builder number 3 on the list of top games that I played for the first time this year. Star Realms is a deck builder in which every turn of the game, your opponent is engaged, and sometimes enraged.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, just back from BGG-Con, and I want to tell you about a few games that really impressed me while there. The first one is the only one that you can actually buy today. We're talking about, this is my sleeper hit of the con, and it's sort of it was my surprise hit because it's a publisher's first game. It's not in wide distribution, you can really only get it from their website. We're talking about the Game of 49. Sure, it's themeless. Yes, some of the components look like things you played Tiddlywinks with. It might look like Bingo. It's a glorified version of Connect 4, but this game is awesome. Do not sleep on this game. It is a lot of fun. It looks and feels and plays like a Sid Saxon design. It's got that simple elegance to it. It's got a lot of interaction between players. And even when you learn how to play it or you watch an overview, it still might not sweep you off your feet by that, but you gotta try it because every group I played this with went and they all bought it. In fact, Rich Summer came to me after the Dice Tower podcast where I mentioned this is my sleeper hit, told me he bought a copy, played it twice that night, and he loved it too. This is a huge hit. Don't sleep. Don't pass this one up. The next one is Spyfall. It's not in US distribution yet. This was a huge hit at the con. I think there are only 3 copies. One in the library. Tom and I had a copy. We were playing it with tons of groups. This was a huge hit. One person's a spy. They're trying to figure out where everyone's at. Everyone else knows what location they're at, like a submarine. You ask questions to people, and based on their answer, you're trying to figure out if they know where they're at. They're trying to be vague so that the spy doesn't learn where they're at. But they're trying not to be, very obvious. Then the spy will know, but vague enough that everybody else knows that they are where they say they are. You're trying to point out who the spy is. Amazing social deduction game. The next one is called Mysterium. This is the Poland version from Portal Games. This isn't available yet. It's coming soon, hopefully to America through who knows distribution. Nothing's been signed yet, so we can't say it. This is basically Dixit meets Clue. It's a cooperative game. Actually, it's an asymmetric cooperative game where one person's the ghost. They're giving out Dixit-type cards to give clues as to what is the dream from the psychics that is true, that how to figure out who did the murder, where, and with what. It's a cooperative game, asymmetrical. It is amazing. The last one is Royals from Peter House designed this. He's the one that did Francis Drake, Triassic Terror. It is an area control game where you're trying to take over different lands like Germany, France, England, and you're trying to take up different layers, the kings, the princess, things like that, but you're doing it with area control, you're doing it with card play, hand management, and there's some nastiness where you take out each other, kill each other's guys. It's like a hybrid between Euro and Ameritrash. That's not available yet either, but it should be coming soon. Get all these on your radar. They will not disappoint.
Hello gamers, I'm Kylie the Nerdy Girl here with a comment about players who have analysis paralysis. We all have those individuals in our play group who when you're about to play a game with them, forget the recommended play time because they're just going to blow it right out of the water. These are some tips on how my gaming group and myself have kind of tried to help them get more acclimated to the game. Tip 1. Make house rules about time limits. Normally, most turns can be figured out within 3 to 10 minutes. Figure out what's appropriate for the game and what most people kind of tend to take, and then perhaps even double it. And then to help enforce it, do something that creates an awareness, like a sand counter or a timer on a cell phone. You can modify games where it really wouldn't hurt. An example of this would be like in Magic the Gathering or Summoner Wars, you normally draw up to the amount of cards you need on your turn. Well, as long as the person doesn't play the cards on the opposing turn, what difference does it make if they get that card like a minute earlier? And by giving them that opportunity, they can kind of figure out just a little bit faster what they want to do. 3. Many games get more complicated when you have 5, 6, 7, 8 players. Sure, lots of games like Seven Wonders are more fun with more players. However, that doesn't necessarily help someone with analysis paralysis, because now instead of having to account for 2 or 3 players, they got to count all 5 interactions. It's like a mental shutdown. Make sure that when they're playing games, it's within 3, maybe 4 players, so it's just an easier board state for them. No one likes constantly like, excuse me, can you please go a little bit faster? You're like holding up the game, thank you. And you put that pressure on them, it's going to be harder for them to actually make the decisions, to play. They feel everyone's watching them, and it's just going to ruin their experience. Yes, I understand them holding up the game kind of bothers some of the other gamers, don't get me wrong, but just kind of maybe talk to them on the side. In the comments below, please share your own experience for how you help people with analysis paralysis incorporate into your gaming group. I'd like to see how other people are dealing with. Happy holidays, everyone, and may RNG always be in your favor.
Hey folks, I was at the Cool Stuff store in Hollywood, Florida this past Saturday. It was a fantastic time. What we did was they shut the store down to everybody else. You could come in and buy stuff at the counter and games and magic cards and so on. But for the playing area was completely closed off to anyone but board gamers. Board gamers came in, they paid a $15 fee, but that covered both meals. We got lunch and supper out of it, like deli platters and sandwiches and wraps from Publix and water and things. And also there was a flea market for the first couple hours. So from 10 to 12 there was a flea market, so different people sold lots of different games and used games. And then from 12 to midnight we just played games. You could play games from 10 to 12 too. We had a pitch card tournament, we had a small ticket to ride tournament, and then we also had raffles throughout the day, and people were able to win different various games. Like someone won the the Fresco Big Box, and the various games were given out from Cool Stuff. And there was also a 5% discount for everybody who came. That's fantastic, folks. It was great. We had about 70 some people come, and I had a great time, went around, taught games, played games with people. And I was so happy because I looked at the game group where it is now and where the game group was when I came, and things have changed somewhat. When I first came to the area, the game group, I wanted to get involved in gaming. Now, I will grant you that it's easier for me to get gaming than than probably a lot of the listeners and watchers out there, because I just post, say, hey, I'm coming to this area, and people will then email me back. Not everyone can just get on the dice tower and say that, but I came here and I found there was a meetup group, and I went to the meetup group, and the meetup was being held at a store, and it was a dirty store, and the store owner was just not a very good store, is not a good store owner. And the group was fine, but I said, there's 300 people in this meetup, and we're having 10, 15 people show up at these game events consistently. Where is everybody else? Well, it turned out that they got tired of coming, and so what we did was, I said, all right, I don't want to take over the group myself and be in charge of everything. Let's get some people together. And so we formed a committee, and the committee died because committees just die. They don't get much done. But we managed to make small changes over time, and then we found a good store, the Cool Stuff in Hollywood, who was willing to work with us to where we finally got to the point to make this fantastic event. Now, I get emails from people all the time saying, hey, I wish that there was more gaming in my area. And my answer to that is that you have to be a bit proactive. And that's what I would do. If I went to an area, and I have, when I went to Korea, there was no gamers that I knew of in Korea, at least in the area I went to. So I started telling people about it. I would talk to my friends and invite people over to play games. And if they liked it, then I would invite them over some more to play games. If they thought it was okay, that's fine. They weren't someone who was interested in that. I'd invite other people over, proselytize a little, announce it. I ran Board Game Club at school. I ran an event at my church, and different things. And you would be surprised sometimes that people who you would not expect to love board games would be involved in them. Advertising in a newspaper, maybe putting up on a bulletin board. The problem with this is it's easy for me because I'm a bit of an extrovert. So I don't necessarily have a problem going and introducing myself to people. For those folks who are not that way, that can be more difficult, but it still is possible to do. Meetup is a fantastic tool. It costs money to post about your meetups on the internet, but it still allows you to put it up there. You can control things. You can have very specific setups of how you're going to meet, where you're going to meet. But I'd also recommend getting involved in your store. You don't like your store? Guess what, guys? I didn't like my store at all. So we jumped in and grabbed the bull by the horns. Now, unfortunately, in our case, we had to leave our store, divorce our store, so to speak, but we found a couple other stores. We found The Rock in Kendall, Florida, which has been very good to us. We found cool stuff in Hollywood, Florida. And both these stores, we were able to go in and do things and work with these store owners, talk to the managers of the store. If you have a problem, say, look, I want to play games, but the Magic guys, they cover all the tables with all their cards, and I know they're bringing you money. What can we do? Always put it the way that you can help the store owners. How can I help you? What can we do to make it better for you, which will then make it better for us? If you have a problem, tell them. Now, one of the stores I had problems with, I told them, and he did not care. He changed a few things, but it went back, and we said, okay, the store's not going to change, and it's not healthy to the group, so we had to go. Another store, we had some things, I mentioned them, and they changed them, they fixed them. They said, okay, this is what you want, we'll do it this way, or maybe we can't do it this way, and here's why. And I'm telling you, the more I go and I talk politely and calmly to the people who own these stores, the better you will be. Be involved. You want a better gaming group, you want a better situation, be involved. Not necessarily take over and run everything, and I really tried hard not to do that, although there were parts where I did take over because I wanted to see some things get done, and I'm very excited where it's at. I will not take credit. I have a great gaming group, folks, from Jason and Z and Sam to man, I could list Bob and Warren and Kenny and Raphael and just on and on and on. There's so many people in my gaming group who have done so much work and come, and we have a great time, and I'm thrilled about that. But I think you need to push for it. Why sit around and complain that there's not any people to game with? Go out and make it happen. It's possible. I think even if you live in the smallest podunk town in the world, you probably can find at least a few people who are interested in playing games. Go out there and find them.
Friends, if you're anything like me, this weekend you spent some time enjoying Thanksgiving dinner with loved ones. If you're also like me, you spent some time this weekend watching the first teaser to Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. We here at Whitleypedia thought it would be a great time to pause and talk about Star Wars board gaming. That's right, someone on the internet is going to talk about Star Wars. BGG currently lists more than 200 entries in the Star Wars family of games, ranging from the well-known to the esoteric. Star Wars board games have been there since the very beginning. The first Star Wars game I ever owned was the Battle at Sarlacc's Pit, which wasn't a particularly good game, but had some cool minis that I eventually used as orcs for Dungeons & Dragons. Sidebar, it is not Sarlacc's Pit. It is the Great Pit of Carkoon, which houses the mighty Sarlacc. Now, of those 200, only about 60 are actually ranked, meaning a lot of those entries are expansions, or variants, or just really, really old. For example, Parker Brothers' Star Wars, The Ultimate Space Adventure only has 9 votes. Are you people not paying attention out there? It's the Ultimate Space Adventure. Moreover, a lot of Star Wars games are licensed properties that you and I probably aren't going to take the time to rank. Star Wars tie-ins have been beloved even when the franchise has hit low points. For example, Star Wars Queen's Gambit has an extremely good reputation, and at Board Game Geek Con, it sold for more than $200 at the charity auction. The highest rated Star Wars game is, of course, X-Wing, a game that Fantasy Flight just knocked out of the park. Oh sure, I know you're thinking, it's no R2-D2 is in trouble, or Ewoks save the trees, and you're right, but X-Wing is still a really good game. And you can bet with the re-energized film franchise under the marketing control of the Walt Disney Corporation that we will see even more Star Wars games than we have before. But will they necessarily be better games? Well, judging by Fantasy Flight's upcoming games Armada and Imperial Salt, the latter of which I had the chance to try at BGG Con, I think the franchise will be strong with the Force at emptying your wallet.
Hey folks, welcome to Board Game Corner. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at AEG's Black Box. This was released on Black Friday, and it's a blind box of games. Now, if you don't want to know what's in it and be spoiler-free, please fast forward through this video. But for those who want to stick around and see what is contained within this box, let's jump in and take a look. As you can see, the box is really nice. Some nice presentation. You got some silver foil going on. Now, the first game up here is Trains, the full version of Trains from 2012. Next up, we have Guildhall 7 Seas. Oh, rethemed to 7 Seas. Seventh Hero rethemed as Doomtown. Pretty cool. Maximum Throwdown, Overlord, all full games in this box. 4 full games. You have the boards, the components, all the cards fit really well. AEG has just done a really slick job here. There's a very good value, especially if you've never owned any of these games. So that's a quick look at the AEG Black Box. Now there are 4 full games in here, which is a credible value for the money. And yes, there's some older games, but a couple are rethemed, which is really slick. So if you can find it, definitely check it out. Again, it was available only at your brick and mortar stores or your friendly local game stores. So get out there, see if you can find it. And until next time, folks, we'll see you at the table.
Well, it appears I have a bunch of reviews to do this week and more playing. I'm still not caught up with the Essen load. We've done most of the hot games, but there's still a few hot games I haven't touched yet. There's still games from all throughout the year, and we want to tell you the best games of the year, so I need to get cracking. So why am I sitting here talking to you? Now, I think we have some exciting things coming up in the future. The Dice Steeple is going to be coming back out soon. Dice Tower Next Gen, a podcast that I'm not involved with at all other than producing, run by my daughter, will be posted very soon. You're going to see some changes in Board Game Breakfast in the future, and we'll talk a little bit more about those. I'm thinking about starting a companion show and running it twice over the course of the week, Monday and Thursday, so that it can be a little bit shorter, have more contributors, but split it amongst 2 different days. Well, we'll talk about that more. You watch the Kickstarter in January. And then, of course, the Kickstarter is coming up in January. So lots of exciting things are coming. I'm very thrilled. Thank you guys once again for watching the show. We appreciate you all. See you later. Don't forget my live show tonight.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.